All right, let's talk about Lad McConkey, who, a lot of people were saying, hey, should the Chargers have spent the first round pick last year on a wide receiver? And then once Lad McConkey started playing, we all kind of said, well, it looks like they got a pretty good wide receiver when they got him, because, he was able to do a lot of really good things. There is he's just a slot receiver argument, and we can talk about plays like that, like the one you see on your screen. It's just going to be him going over the middle against zone coverage. You see that they're going to run a play action right here. Over the middle does get open. It's a well-ran route by him for sure, but this isn't like him making some great thing happen out of nothing, right? This is him being a part of the offense on a play that's working. Herbert is able to hit him, and he's able to make the grab, which, hey, being able to make those catches are so important. He had to make a catch while getting hit. That's not easy to do. He had to get to his spot quickly. That's not easy to do. But the argument is that there are more receivers who can do that than there are who can do other things. But I would still say he does generate a good amount of wins on his own. Like, for example, something like this, which is going to start off as a very similar type of play. Like, when you see it on your screen, you might say, okay, this is very similar. It's zone coverage. Once again, he's going to be cutting over the middle, and this is a lot of what he does. But watch how he does it. Less about what the play is and more about how he runs it. When this play begins, you're going to see that right here, again, this is something I always harp on, and the best receivers do this. You see how he is not giving away what he's doing. He's just running straight up, not selling as though he's going over the middle. You can't be a slot receiver and be a bad route runner. You have to be a great route runner, and he's doing a great job on this play. Now, what's the advantage of something like this? Well, if he were to cheat early and get more over the middle, then he could get over the middle quicker, right? Now he's going to have to be able to cut very smoothly if he wants to get open in time. But as you see, when he cuts, he does cut well enough. He generates enough space that had the ball come over there, he probably would have been able to make the grab. Herbert decided to go elsewhere, and hey, that worked out too. But honestly, I think Herbert probably should have just thrown it to McConkey on that play. He was open. It was a really well-ran route by McConkey, and these are the kind of things that he can do. Like, this play is going to be another example of him. He's running a very similar type of route. Again, it's the over-the-middle route against zone coverage. Sure. Makes sense. You might be wondering, well, if this is a lot of what he does, isn't it easy for a defense to take note that this is what he's doing? And kind of, but not really, because you still have, the threat of getting beat down the field, which you have to still pay attention to as a corner. But also right here, you see Derek Stingley Jr. for the Texans. You see, he's already kind of cheating over in this direction. He's already reading like, it's McConkey. He likes to go over the middle. Let's pay attention to that. But even so, they both kind of move at the same time, but McConkey just wins the foot race. So it's like, as a corner, you can't cheat over it by 2 steps, can you? It just, quite frankly, even if you cheat in that direction, he's still quick enough to beat you. That's what makes him such an effective player in this area, where you really have to cheat in a big way if you're going to beat him at something like this. And of course, going over here, the other aspect is you don't know if that's the route he's going to be running, right? Like, this play, what's going to happen is that it is not a route over the middle. It's just going to be a curl route. So again, what's the knock on McConkey? He's not someone who's going to win and go routes too often. That's not his strength. But he can do something like this, where it's not just the over the middle route, but it's still something that he can do really well. Watch as, when this play begins, quite frankly, an over-the-middle route probably would work here. But again, running the beginning part of the route the way you want him to. Not giving anything away. He could cut towards the sideline. He could be running deep, which he will do at times, even if that's not his specialty. He could be going over the middle, or he can just stop on a dime like that, and you see he gets open and is able to make the grab. Again, these are really difficult plays to stop as a defense, especially when you're playing zone coverage. So, okay, you might be saying, well, does that mean that he can only beat zone coverage? And of course, the answer to that is also no. Like, let's head over here. Because for one thing, those other routes can still work against man coverage. But for the other explanation is something like this. It's going to be a one-on-one matchup. And you see, I'm not even showing you his route. Just showing you where he is on the screen. He's the one I've circled in yellow. Once this play begins, Herbert runs a play action, and you see right here, McConkey's kind of thinking as though he's going a bit more towards the outside right here, but essentially what has happened is the corner who's covering him is standing right in front of him. And rules get very tricky once we get that far down the field, but essentially you're not allowed to just stand in front of somebody like a pick play in basketball if you're a defender. You can't draw a charge. If you're an offensive player, you're allowed to kind of run through him in this situation a little bit. You can't just run into him just to run into him, but you're allowed to finish your route. It's like, watch, that's what he does. He runs in, creates a little bit of contact, and is able to come back and make the grab, and then on a tackle attempt, there is a face mask, so he gets extra yards that way. That's good stuff by McConkey. Yes, that is all legal, that is all allowed, and that's him against man coverage being able to win again against Derek Stingley Jr., one of the better corners in football. Like, this is what he is capable of. If we want to get into negatives, the only real negative I have for a slot receiver like he is you see him on this play, he's going to be blocking an edge rusher, and okay, that's a mismatch, right? Slot receiver against an edge rusher. But if you are a slot receiver, you are going to have to block a decent amount. And quite frankly, he's just not great at it. Like, watch, this is what you would expect, really struggles in that situation. I'm not saying you have to be able to block edge rushers one-on-one as a wide receiver. You don't expect that. But I think you would like a little bit more out of him on certain blocking plays. And that's kind of the one, given his position, the one real critique I have. It's a weakness. You can live with it, but it's a weakness. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, again, this was a guy who was drafted in the second round, early in the second round, but still in the second round, a player that, I think has really shown that he is a very effective player year one. And I think sometimes we overthink this stuff of, well, this guy's just a slot receiver. Is he that valuable? Well, if you're a great slot receiver, I mean, look at the Detroit Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown has completely changed the dynamic of that team. Sure, he's a quote-unquote slot receiver, but look at how valuable he is. And I think you see with McConkey on these types of plays, like, ultimately, what is the goal? The goal is to move the football down the field and try to get the ball into the end zone, or at the very least, try to get a field goal out of it, right? That's your job as a wide receiver. Move the ball down the field. And these types of routes are really effective to help you move the ball down the field, especially for a team like the Chargers who love to run the ball. And while, yes, still in a perfect world, you'd have someone who can win on the outside as well to kind of take advantage over there. Ultimately, you don't need that necessarily. And I do feel like McConkey, I actually kind of wonder if we'll see him maybe occasionally go for a deeper route this next year, just because you have to be so afraid of him over the middle. Could he take advantage down the field? I could see that. Keep your eye out for that, I think, next year. But either way, he's very good player and really helps the Chargers win. Big part of why they were a playoff team last year. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ladd McConkey and his rookie season. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from ya. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.